If you've been following around with the FireMonkey YouTube channel for a long time now, or even on my Twitter account and everything else, you may know I'm one of the people who don't like dipping too far into the nostalgia pool when it comes to everything happening with Fortnite, right? I know that I've been playing since back in Chapter 1, I know I've played since before seasons existed, I'm aware of all that type of stuff. However, I never really took a chance to look back at those old times, because when you have experiences nowadays, as the game has continued to evolve and continue to actually, change little things here and there in order to make it more modernized, there's a lot of stuff that just kind of gets lost in your memory, right? And you can go ahead and play recreations of UEFN maps or whatever else that are made to be Chapter 1 once again or whatnot, but you never really had the experience to go back there and relive those experiences from Chapter 1 like you do to this current day, and that's been something I've always thought about, right? And now that we're actually having a fully blown opportunity to sit here, figure out what we want to do with Fortnite, and actually go back to that era in that point in time of the game, when everything else was very focused on Chapter 1, when everything was so brand new to the whole entire wide span genre of everything else, and seeing how it's going to be the OG Chapter 1, but with the Chapter 4 improvements and everything else over the previous few chapters, it makes me really just kind of wonder about everything, right? It makes me wonder if it's actually going to be that type of experience where we can really sit down and enjoy it. Now, to kind of set the stage for this video, I was going through some old clips, and I actually found this one right here of me playing back in Chapter 1 Season 5, and it was such a throwback clip to actually see, because you don't just occasionally go back and see all these old footages and stuff that you recorded a long time ago, back when the game still felt super new, right? No one was really trying to crank 90s, build insane structures or anything like that, and it was just a pretty simplistic thing, right? Just opening and closing doors, hiding behind them, and getting an easy trap kill just felt so new at the time. It felt so enjoyable. However, nowadays when we're playing Fortnite, we don't have traps to kill people with. We don't have any of that stuff really, right? In terms of the whole entire trap system, we have some things that, they've released here and there, such as the throwable launch pad, which had the entire purpose of just being a normal launch pad, but more, zero build friendly or whatever else, and seeing how we're going to be getting traps returning while, according to all the updated leaks and everything else, still having access to, the whole entire zero build mode and having bot lobbies and all that type of stuff. It really makes me wonder if they're going to water down the Chapter 1 content in order to, give you a little bit of nostalgia, but at the same time make it so there's this weird disconnect where it still just doesn't feel the exact same. Because I'm gonna be completely honest here, right? Going back and looking at some old clips and stuff, some old videos of me talking, back when I sounded more like this, it's a very interesting time, right? And I'll get a little bit nostalgic seeing some old stuff that I used to do, such as, my first time ever experiencing a rift, having a friend go in the rift and be shocked to get rifted up into the sky and everything else. Back then, all that type of stuff was brand new. It was wonderful to actually see, and now that we're going back, it's like, yeah, we're going back, but at the exact same time, even though we're going back to the era, a lot of stuff has changed. We're going to be having the new movements, we're going to be having zero build, we're going to be having more zip lines on the island so that you're able to actually go from one place into another. We're going to have a lot of stuff that is basically malformed, or I guess, changed up the Chapter 1 island so that it matches current day Fortnite, and I think a lot of people are currently, trying to hype up the whole entire return to Fortnite OG or whatever as a super nostalgia-fueled situation, where it's like everything's going to be like it used to be, right? But the thing is, it's not going to be like it used to be. When it comes to the lobby itself, we already know that we're still going to be having UEFN creations, all that type of stuff, so we shouldn't be worried or, expecting that we're going to be having some crazy stuff happening where it's like, oh, 3D lobbies or anything like that. Most likely it will just be lobby image versions of the whole entire lobby design previously. Maybe they'll have like a new system in place for 3D lobbies, but I personally doubt that because we haven't seen any leaks regarding it or anything else. But it really is getting to the spot where it's like, yeah, a lot of stuff people have been thinking about when they hear about the whole entire hashtag Fortnite OG mode and everything is just the return to OG Fortnite. They're not thinking about all the other little bits and pieces, the small little nitty gritty in order to, make it actually be the OG Fortnite they remember, because so much has actually changed since then where it can't be the old Fortnite we remember. If you really pay attention to it and you really zone in and focus on all the changes and everything, even when it comes to people's building, back then the game was so new to people. There weren't people in creative mode or anything trying to crank 90s, build all these insane structures or whatever. Back then you heard about someone cranking a 90 and you're like, what does that even mean? It was like a foreign term, especially around that time, because we didn't even have creative mode back then. And I remember when creative first came out, a lot of people got better at building, you would heard terms thrown around like creative warrior and all that type of stuff, but nowadays it's like people don't lose their skill just because you're going back to the old days of Fortnite. I mean, Epic Games can do some things here and there, such as, removing turbo building and all that type of stuff, but I highly doubt they're going to do it. I think that this entire return to the old version of Fortnite is literally just going to be a way for them to continue the storyline in a new light, while also dragging some new people back into the game who may not have played it in the longest time, because, the biggest way to put old people back into the game is to give them what they used to play and improve it by having the modern day enhancements on it, so that they're like, wait a minute, I'm playing this, but these changes and stuff make the game a lot more fun. It feels a lot smoother to do this or that. They have all these different areas to improve the past while still using the nostalgia fueled version of the map as a way to get people to actually want to show up and do stuff. And in terms of what I would expect them to do when it comes to actually going past just the simple map and giving us nostalgia things, I feel like one thing they definitely could do is, like Chapter 1 remix skins. Since we're going back to the Chapter 1 map and all the type of stuff, it would just make sense, the cosmetics in the Battle Pass or whatever, or even in the item shop, could just be remastered or remixed versions of Chapter 1 cosmetics through all the different seasons. It doesn't even have to be specifically from Chapter 1 Season 5 to Season X. It could also be the previous seasons as well. I know it wouldn't make sense, lore-wise or whatever else with what they've got going on, but it still would be a nice thing to see them do. And then I feel that if they were to really give that nostalgia feel, one of the main things that they could do, and one of the main things that I hope and I think they might do, because it just would make sense for them to do it, is to go ahead and make it so that when it comes to the challenges themselves, you're going to actually have a more challenge-based system for the Battle Pass instead of the current system where it's mainly get 150 levels, get 200 levels or whatever else in order to max out all the rewards and get all the little mini benefits here and there. I think they could do a very heavily challenge-based system as a way to kind of, hype up, hey, this is still the old Fortnite like you remember, and maybe they could do that as a way to also bring back that type of system for the Battle Pass permanently. Now, will it be like it used to be where it was like you unlock a skin in the Battle Pass and then you get challenges to unlock the variants or something? I don't know. Will it be a similar system to like the recent event passes and things we've seen? Once again, I have no clue. All I can do is really speculate on the stuff we do and don't know, and just hope and pray for the best. But I do think a lot of people are getting too excited for something that's going to be happening, and then they're going to be disappointed when the whole entire return to Chapter 1 returns and all that type of stuff. So while I am going to be excited, and while looking at old clips does make me a little bit nostalgic, I am not going to say that this is going to be guaranteed a massive success. It's going to be super amazing and everything else, but I will say that I have high hopes for it. And the whole entire point of making this video is just to kind of talk about, the fact that I've kind of gone back to some of my old content and looked through those old videos and stuff back when the whole entire game was brand new, back when leaking wasn't as big of a thing and as easy of a thing as it is now, when you would literally have to have custom-made programs just to view the rarity and name of a skin, just so you can match a rarity and name to the actual icon of the skin as well, right? Things have changed since back then. Leaks are a lot easier to do. There's a lot of different, things happening in the community. UEFN's a thing. We have creative mode. A lot of stuff is completely different, but I still have hope at the end of the day that what we end up experiencing with the return to Chapter 1 is going to be a good experience. However, I don't know if it will be as nostalgia fueled as a lot of people are thinking and anticipating it will be. I feel that it's still going to have a massive difference from what you experienced back then in the good old days of Chapter 1. So I'd love to hear in the comments down below, what do you guys think about the whole entire situation of what's going on with, the return to Fortnite OG? Do you think it's going to go well? Do you think it's going to be a little odd seeing how they're going to be shifting the map and changing up a little bit here and there so that you're able to still get around the island even if you can't build? How do you feel about all of it? I mean, one thing I've seen people mention as well is the fact that, we're still going to have bot lobbies. When, Fortnite originally released back in Chapter 1, bot lobbies weren't a thing. You had full player lobbies of 100 people, skill-based matchmaking wasn't really a thing as far as I can remember and all the type of stuff. I mean, I still remember times getting in matches with Nick A30 when I was absolutely garbage at the game, which I still kind of am. But that whole entire, system is going to still be in place where you're still going to see bots in your matches. You're still going to have bot lobbies as a whole entire playlist that you could technically trick your account into, and it's just going to be really how the challenge system works, how the lore works, and how the map itself actually works that is going to be the whole entire different part of Fortnite when it comes to the whole entire return to Chapter 1. But of course, it waits to be seen very, very soon on November 3rd. I might do a leaking live stream or whatever else where, we kind of just hop in and, look at all the files and everything live like the good old days, because, that is a little bit nostalgic, but of course, I'm still kind of debating it in my mind. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see that, and until next time, I'll catch you champs and champettes a little bit later. Peace out.